Alright guys, this one is going to be a versus. I have one American IPA or AIPA versus another. We have Hot Bottom versus Dog Tag. Interesting beers. This is from Nimble Hill, which is in Pennsylvania. This is a local brewed beer, American IPA. And Dog Tag is, I believe it's made in Montana. Really interesting. I actually saw this at a beer distributor by me, and unfortunately you can't get 6-packs there. I'd get like a case of 24 of these, and it was pretty cheap. It was on par with, like, you know, same price for Bud or Coors or anything like that. They have an IPA and they also have a lager. Okay, this is their American IPA. The lager is like a brown camo. What's really interesting about this is that some of the proceeds from sales go to the families of fallen soldiers, and I believe the people who run this are in fact veterans. Just a really interesting beer. I gave my dad a bunch of these, and it basically has a dog tag on each can, and they're all different. And it's, you know, a real soldier's information. And on the bottom of the can underneath gives a quick story of how that soldier died in battle. So, and on top it says this beer is dedicated to. So, just a really interesting concept, you know, for beer. You know, for a presentation anyway. Some people may say it's gimmicky. You know, I like it. And there's, you know, a moment when I do drink this, you know, or when I had them anyway, because I only got this once. This is the last one of a 24-pack. But when each can, I read every single person, you know, and it kind of, you have a moment of sorrow for, you know, these fallen soldiers, and of course for the families. So I don't know, it seems it's overwhelmingly cool as an idea, but at the same time it's almost depressing, you know. Most people, you know, don't want to have a depressing mood when they're, you know, drinking. I mean, obviously a lot of people do drink because they're depressed, and that's obviously not a good thing at all. You know, if someone has a problem like that, they should obviously seek real help for that. But, you know, enjoying beer or, you know, alcohol of any kind is supposed to be a fun adult activity in moderation. You know, I'm not here to preach you guys, but you get what the deal is, and I don't know, I like the concept behind it a lot. I think it's very cool. This particular can, I'll read to you. It says Captain Ryan K. Iannelli in Clarksboro, New Jersey. I happen to know where that is. U.S. Marine Corps. It's got some other information on here that I don't know what it stands for, but he was born April 3rd, 1984. I was born December 29th, 1984. So we're the same age. He died on September 28th, 2011. And that is way too young to die. Captain Ryan Iannelli was killed on September 28th, 2011 when his AH-1W Hilo crashed near FOB Pain in Afghanistan. We donated a portion of this proceeds from this purchase directly to the Iannelli family. To learn more about Ryan and our mission to support his family, go to dogtagbrewing.com. So that's the deal with this, just so you guys know. So it's a lot to talk about. Nimble Hill, they're just, you know, they're just making beer. But I'll tell you what it's got on here. It says Hot Bottom Indian Pale Ale. I know it's an American Indian Pale Ale. At least I believe it is. I hope it is, since I'm comparing these two. And it is made in Mehoopany, Pennsylvania. So anyway, let's crack these open. Enough talking. Obviously, one comes in a can, one comes in a bottle. I don't think these come in bottles. But we're going to give this a pour. Two different glasses here so we can differentiate between them. I swear I didn't have anything to drink yet. Just can't talk. All right. So, nice darker color on this one. It's got a really nice, very deep copper color. And you guys are actually seeing it a little bit brighter than I am. But very nice. Nice big head, just slightly off-white. Very pungent IPA smell. Just smells super, super strong. So let's try this hop bottom. There we go. Alright, so you see I'm using the pint glass. Alright. So very similar color. This one seems to be a little bit lighter than the other one. Yeah, about the same color. Let's really compare them side by side. Well, that is confusing because the light is coming in from this direction only right now. So it looks like this is lighter, but in person, honestly, they're pretty damn close. Looking side by side, they're about the same color. It's too hard to really differentiate between them. So, anyway, this one is the hop bottom. Okay, and dog tag. So hop bottom. I smell a lot more of like sweet malts on it compared to dog tag is way more like piney IPA-ish, you know, citrus and just citrus and pine. This smells sweet. It just smells like caramel and malt, and actually it smells a little bit like honey. So anyway, let's try this one first, the hop bottom. It tastes just the way it smells. Ooh. It's got a little bit of like a graham cracker thing going on. Great carbonation, great mouthfeel, thick, rich, definitely got bitterness at the end, but it's kind of lingering. And this one's super sweet. I like this a lot. Like I said, I've had the dog tag before. I never had this. It's my first time ever having hop bottom. And by the way, this comes in at 7% ABV, and the dog tag comes in at 7.1% ABV. All right, let's do a comparison between this now. Dog tag, let's see. The dog tag is it's not quite as sweet. Now I'll say this. They're both, this is really sweet, so the dog tag doesn't really seem as sweet compared to it, but if anyone just has either one of these on their own, you could realize that it is a very sweet IPA. The biggest difference between the two so far, the dog tag has a much drier finish. The mouth feels pretty much the same on both. Pretty substantial. There's bitterness that just lingers all around the mouth. I can say that the dog tag has much more of a bitter punch. Okay, it has a much more of like a, it almost has the, you know, the taste of like a double IPA. It's a very strong, you know, just lingering bitterness that kind of carries on. Like I felt that with the other one here, the hop bottom, but it didn't stick around as much. And take a little sip of this. I mean, just a little sip. It just kind of really hangs on, and it's a much stronger bitterness. Of course, this one has a lot more pine pitch and just bitter pine. With just a little bit of citrus. It's actually just like, it's predominantly that pine sap flavor to me, with a little bit of like bitter lemon rind, you know, or kind of orange peel, but really, really low on the citrus and very high in the pine and the bitterness. And even though it's sweet, I'm not really tasting any malts. Like, again, dog tag, very good, very strong, bitter, pine. Hop bottom is, to me, it's better. It's better because it's more drinkable. Now, of course, you can sip on one of these, but you can drink a lot more of this, in my opinion. Even though the mouthfeel is the same, way, way less bitterness, way less IPA kick. If you're into the double IPAs and, you know, the bigger, stronger, bolder IPAs, a lot of IBUs in this one, you know, not so much in flavor in the hop bottom. The hop bottom also has a lot more, you know, like just a caramel flavor. It's also a little bit bready. It has kind of, it's almost like if a Belgian beer mixed in with an IPA, you know, instead of like a black and tan, it was a tan and tan. I don't know. If you understand what I'm saying, it has a little bit of breadiness you get from some of the Belgian brews, but some of the Telltale IPA stuff, but very, very low on citrus. And in this one, very, very little of that pine. Okay, so big distinction between the two, and then both being American IPAs. I mean, that's the whole point of this, is doing a head-to-head to really see what the difference is. Now, if I had this, you know, today, and then I had the other one 3 weeks from now, I'm not going to remember, you know, all the little nuances in the flavors here. So that's the whole point of literally doing them side by side, is to literally taste it, okay, got it, boom, taste it, and compare them. So, you know, overall, the dog tag, dog tag, I don't know why it didn't sound right. The dog tag American IPA, excuse me, it's much bolder. It's much more of a punch in your face. It is extremely, you know, strong in the pine sap arena here, with a little bit of citrus thrown in, whereas the hop bottom is more bready and malty and caramel. You know, just a good amount of sweetness in this one. Carbonation is about the same on both. It's pretty good. It's very carbonated. I just, you know, between them, that's the big thing too, is that this one, as soon as you swallow, that bitterness is flat. Like as you're tasting it, okay, you're taking a sip, it's all over your tongue and in your palate. It's bitter. It's an IPA. When you swallow it, it just, there's that bitterness completely is erased in the finish, which honestly, it's kind of appealing to me. I mean, if you're into IPAs in general, I think a lot of people are looking for that bitterness. They're looking for all the nuances that IPAs offer. That's a very specific flavor profile. And that one's like almost like a hybrid to me. I've never had this exact combination of flavors. A little bit of breadiness from a Belgian ale. A little bit of the IPA stuff, but very subtle. Not having a huge bitter kick at the end. You know, it's really interesting. Although I have to say I am a fan of Dog Tag. I like that their whole mission to, you know, help families and stuff. I love, you know, that the packaging on this is phenomenal. It really, really drew me in. At this distribution center, all these different beers, my eyes were right drawn to this camo. I'm like, what's the deal with that? I walk over, read it, read the can, you know, so it was kind of like an immediate, you know, excitement for this beer. It really stood out compared to other beers. But like I said, some people would just say that's a very big gimmick. But honestly, I'm here to tell you, I'm trying it right now, and there's a lot of bold flavor behind this packaging. It's not just packaging with cheap water beer inside. It is a very good, very high quality IPA. But as far as my personal taste goes, as much as I really like this, you know, my money would go with the hop bottom. just because it's just pretty unique to me. I've never had that kind of a flavor profile, and I like it. I like it a lot. So that is my comparison between these two beers. So this win goes to Hot Bottom. But I have to say, this is still pretty damn cool. If you guys get this where you are, because this is pretty unique, I've never seen this before. And if it's made in Montana, like most of my stuff around here, especially some of the smaller places that does the microbrewery stuff. Like, for example, we have beer distribution centers in Pennsylvania where you walk in, it's, you know, big cases of this, that, and the other thing. It's mostly big name stuff. I mean, Heineken, Coors, Bud, all that kind of crap, right? Corona. But occasionally you'll find a beer store that specializes in little microbrewed stuff, you know, small company, things like Dogfish Head, you know. And a lot of the times, there's about 4 of them within 2 hours of me, and 3 out of the 4 of them have like 90% Pennsylvania brewing, you know, brews. So in other words, 90% of the stuff's coming from places or breweries in Pennsylvania. And there's only one of them that actually branches out a little bit, and they have all kinds of stuff there. But that, of course, is the farthest and is the most expensive and blah, blah, blah. I don't get a chance to get out there very often. But I do get a chance to try a lot of local beers, as most of you do. Obviously, it's going to be what's most prevalent around you. But this, I've never seen before. So if you get this in the U.S., let everyone know in the comments what state you're in. That's all. Just, I'm curious too, because I've never seen it before, just that one time. And then when I went back, it was gone. And the person who was there, like the owner who I talked to the first time, really nice guy. The second time it was just some woman. She didn't know. She was basically standing there to take people's money. She didn't know anything about the beer or where it's coming from or anything. So not as helpful. But anyway, yes, I'd recommend both of these American IPAs. But Hot Bottom definitely takes the win. Just really, really good. So I'm going to slowly enjoy the rest of this. Maybe put on a movie or something. I wish you guys a wonderful evening. Cheers from me to you. Of course, if you're watching this and you are, you know, drinking a beer, make sure you don't jump into your car. You know, I hate to preach, but I'm a very strong advocate of drinking responsibly. And when you see me do these videos, I'm enjoying a beer. It doesn't happen every day. In fact, you know, over the last 2 months or so, the only time I drink beer is when I'm on camera. And some of those videos that you see, some of my beer reviews are pre-recorded. I did, you know, maybe 2 or 3 beers in a row, you know, recorded it, saved them, and then upload them later. So I'm not drinking every day. But anyone who is, I would like to remind you that it's not just, you know, your life that's in danger when you get in a car intoxicated. It's everyone around you. And I'll leave you at that. Adults will do what they want. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care.